In the previous slide, we discussed the simple concept of computational systems. Here, we're going to talk about informatics. And now that you know about computational systems as the base of informatics, you are ready. As you can see in the first bullet, it says, informatics is the study of computational systems. That's it. So you see how much these two concepts are related to each other. The science of computational system, the study of computational systems is called informatics. But what we intend when it comes to informatics is the computational systems that are based on data storage and retrieval. So now you should understand the reason that we have such emphasis on the concept of database in the field of informatics. So when you are working on the science of, on the study of computational systems, while the computation part of the things to generate answer for the problem that you are trying to solve, when it is based on some databases that you have. For example, if you are working in the field of e-commerce, for example, if the system that solves the problem is do all the calculations based on the saved data of the previous transactions and having all the data available in case of needing them is called informatics. Because many times, maybe when you want to solve a problem, you are not doing it based on data storage. You do it based on generating data first, and after that you start doing to generate the answer. For example, in simulation, you can first generate the data, and based on the generated data, based on some calculations, you come up with the answer. But if the problem solving process is based on the database that is full of the previous transactions, previous cases, previous observations, it is called informatics. That's it. So that's the reason that in the second bullet it says the central notion of informatics is transformation of information, because you have big data, because you have big information, because you have, for example, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years of information about a business, and you transform that data into a more valuable set of information that can help you to make a better decision. Because you already have the data. You are not generating it. You store it. And you transform it to a more valuable set of information. And finally, in the third bullet, it is some sort of talking about the terminology. It says in Europe, they usually translate informatics as computer science. That absolutely is not the focus of this program you have started here at University of Montevallo. and it is completely different from computer science. They have, of course, they have commonalities in terms of programming, but your program, in fact, the American informatics, is focusing more on business applications, but computer science is focusing on the algorithms, programming, improvement in those techniques, calculation techniques, and all those things. So as you can see in the slide in front of you, it says in the United States, however, the term informatics is mostly used in the context of data science. What is the name of your program? Data analytics. And again, you are getting a good understanding of the fact why we changed the name of program, the title of program from uh, computer informatics to data analytics, because we want to be more direct and frank about what we are doing in our department. According to this slide, informatics in our department is considered as data science, and more specifically, since when it comes to data analytics, it is more, um, it has a, its emphasis is more on the business applications. In the previous slide, we noticed that the definition of informatics in the USA is different from definition of informatics in the Europe. So let's check the origin of informatics in the USA that to a great deal explains the reason behind the difference of uh, definition of the European definition and American definition. The earliest use of the term informatics in the USA was during 1950s with the beginning of computer use in healthcare. Yes, you are right. The origin of informatics in the USA was healthcare. So if you hear somewhere that healthcare analyticians tells you that we started your major in this country, they are absolutely correct. In the 90s, when the computer start to open their ways into the healthcare, because they had a lot of data and the problem they wanted to solve were too complicated. So they tried their best to make the most out of the available data they have on one hand, and on the other side they had computers. Combination of data, computer solving problem is computer informatics. But early practitioners, in fact, the first generation of healthcare analyticians or healthcare informaticians who try to solve problems in their field with this type of science soon learned that there were no formal education programs. When, the formal education programs, it means like the program that you are enrolled in and you are passing this, for example, informatics 171 as part of your path to graduation. So it talks about that at that time they were interested in the field, they noticed there are potential over there, but after checking the educational system in the country, they noticed there is no formal education programs over there like the one that we have at University of Montevallo. So professional development played a significant role in the development of health informatics. And I believe that's one of the reasons this field is very practical, very interesting, very sweet. As soon as you are passionate about learning, you have everything. Because the base is not pure science. The base, the start is solving problems by professional development. They were over there, for example, they were in a hospital, they have data, they have computers, so they tried to make the most out of those things. Maybe at that time, none of them were mathematicians, none of them were programmers. So I believe that could be one of the contributing factors to the fact that still nowadays this field is very professional, very practical, very interesting to follow. I'm not talking about the professional health informatics teams that we have, because in all of them, in most of them, we have mathematicians, we have programmers, we have engineers. But I'm talking about 1960s, I'm talking about 1950s, when they started this major. So they stated that the primary goal of health informatics can be, just pay attention how much it is close to what still today we announce as the goal of this major. After this session, you should be completely familiar with what your major is and how it can affect on the society. Although we have about 15 weeks to discuss all this stuff together. So they said to provide solutions. You see, problem solving. Provide solutions for problems related to data, information, and knowledge by processing. You remember from the previous slide that we checked together that it was talking about the difference between computational system and informatics, and it says it is more about transformation, because over there we already have data that you transform. So you see, it says processing, data, information, knowledge. So again, it talks about a database. So we have data, information processing, knowledge processing on one side, and also what we want to get from them, provide solutions to problems. And finally, in the last bullet, it talks about the fact that analogous terms were later introduced for use of computer in various fields. So in any field that you are using computer, with the discussed coordinations we had, you can put the name of informatics next to it. For example, we have business informatics, we have forest informatics, we have legal informatics, we have sport informatics, we have predictive informatics. In all of them, you use the data that you already have, with calculations to use all data to solve the problems in that field. If you solve the problem in the business, it is called business informatics. If you solve the problem related to forest, it is called forest informatics, legal, and like that. So that's the reason I tell you only need to attend one introductory class in terms of informatics, because they all are the same. We discuss it more later.